Hey, I'm Wes, and welcome back to Unsuppressed. Here with the usual suspects, and we have two guests with Avery. Avery, you want to go ahead and introduce your two guests?
Alicia Kerr.
And I'm Alicia Hargraves.
So
really?
Avery,
You're both the same?
Together we make an Avery sandwich.
Yes.
We're AAA right here.
You're Avery Oreo, because I like cookies.
It's like a reverse Oreo. Like
So much sandwich.
You're wearing white t-shirts, and then he's wearing like a tan t-shirt. It's like those like vanilla Oreos or something.
No, Oreo inside out.
Yeah, sit out.
The inverted Oreo. Yeah.
Okay. So Alicia Kerr, I do a little bit of TikTok with some social media. My biggest thing is I love to promote my pettiness, and so I go as the name Petty Betty.
Ooh, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm Alicia Hargraves. Funny, we all share the same name. I am affiliated with Get in the Fight branding, and so Alicia here is helping me with some brand ambassador stuff. I do a little bit of the TikTok, and mine's Leah SRT4 because I like cars.
You have an SRT4?
I do have an SRT4.
Okay, just checking. All right. So it's Get in the Fight. So how do you get to the your label? So Get in the Fight, right? Is it like a getinthefight.com? Is that how you'd solicit it?
There is a getinthefight.com. The best way though to find us is on Instagram.
Okay.
And it's just Get in the Fight.
Is it like World Star, or is it like? No, I'm just playing. So I dated myself. All right. So the question we have today that I brought up because it just came to me because you guys are influencers. Have in the tactical space, there are a lot of people that talk shit. And there will be people who are competition shooters talking trash on people who are in the tactical market, providing skill sets and stuff from their MOSs or their war experience. From what you're doing, are you running? Because I know the Petty Betty. I follow Petty Betty, so everybody. So you should follow her on Instagram. She's cool, and she does stuff with guns. Have you had anybody come at you like a spider monkey because of what you're doing? Because it's both for both of you, and how are you dealing with that? Because I know that there is some chauvinism kind of things that go on in the male with the gunning community. It's kind of a little bit, it's definitely an alpha deal. So just you guys have the floor. You tell us how you deal with it.
Well, I do a majority of my stuff on TikTok. Instagram, the algorithm doesn't work well for me. But for TikTok, pushing the gun industry, the 2A community, people love it. And I think it's just because my algorithm hits right. But there are some like rare occasions where I do receive the negative comments. And most of it is just mansplaining, to be honest with you. It's just, and I think they're doing it just to, I don't know if it's like a request for a date, or I could show you how to handle that. Where do you live? Let's meet up. I'm this instructor. I've done it this way before. I've shot in this competition. And so I don't think it's as like the mansplaining that all the girls like talk about. Oh, it's just a guy telling me how to do things. It's literally their pickup line. And so at that point, it's like, I have respect if you're just trying to talk game and you want to try to go on a date. And if that's your only pickup line, then so be it. But like the negative comments, I really don't even see them until the community sees them, my followers. And so like, I really don't have to fight those negative comments because my followers do it for me. And if I do see it is actually fun. And so I never delete the comment because it makes for good content. I just let it sit there and people just boost the video just by
marketing's marketing.
Yeah, commenting on it. And also if I delete the comment, then what happens is it doesn't make awareness. Because when you do see a discussion, especially someone who has like a stupid question, or if they say something dumb that I'm doing in their perception, when it's actually like shooting on a range, having all the guidelines, and maybe someone says I'm unsafe, but in theory, I'm actually reacting well within my training, right? And so it builds a conversation, and people like can see it, outsiders, and be like, oh, I see all these people's point of view defending the tactics that she's doing. Mm-hmm. And then it develops the conversation and actually brings awareness to the community.
Have you, so you've had the comp shooter saying that you're doing something that's sketchy? More or less?
Yeah.
I've read some of the stuff with, I'm an instructor and I've done this, and this, and I think.
I just said, congratulations. Where'd you get your instructors from? The NRA? I'm just curious. Just sure. So this does follow that track. Leah, have you had the same thing happen?
Yeah, a little less though, because like I'm not as big into the social media world yet. Like I've had some, I guess, traffic in that sense, right? For me though, like where people attack me is being a woman in a man's world, right? In every field. Military. Yeah, whether it's military, mechanics, you name it, and the mansplaining is a real thing. But for me, I think it's more of just being a pretty girl, right? Like, oh, you're just a pretty girl. You're a pretty face.
Well, that's how you got promoted.
Well, yeah, it's totally how I earned my stripes.
No value, like
none, right?
She does.
And so, people often say a lot of the same things, right? Like, oh, well, you're not qualified for this, or you're doing this wrong, and like. I don't usually say much about it until somebody like truly triggers me, right? And then I'll have a whole spiel. But for the most part, like I just let it go too, because somebody else is going to fight that fight. Like this is the one time that I'm like, awesome. Thanks for the keyboard warriors, because the more comments that come is the more, visibility, right? So
do you see trolling as a positive thing then?
Not always, right? Positive in the sense of bringing out awareness or upping the views and allowing more visibility. But like the downside of that is the mental health side, right? Because as strong and independent and amazing as we can be, sometimes those comments do hurt, right? But I mean, for the most part, it's as long as it's bringing in more views, I mean, by all means, say what you got to say, because at the end of the day, however you were trained or however you view the world is not the same as how I view it. And hey, if you stick around, you might just learn something.
Okay, so there's that part of it where you said about the mental training and the emotional fortitude that I think a lot of people are overlooking. That a lot of people, like I know that there's huge studies based on people that get clicks. It's like getting a high, right? It's getting the high.
Feeds the dopamine.
Yeah, the dopamine trip, right? And so if you have the ability to understand that you're going to see the spectrum of positive and negative, that's going to be it's going to be easier for you to get used to the negative because you're putting yourself out there. And I know that I mean, if I put anything out on Instagram, like we'll go to the range, we'll shoot. And this dude invariably, he's like, in my experience, and I'm like, okay.
Are you talking about me right now?
No, completely different.
Dude on Instagram, I took a bunch of video of us at the range and I sent it to Bill, and Bill posted it on his Instagram. And then he was just going like, the way that you did the drill, and he was like analyzing it and like giving Bill pointers and stuff like that. And Bill was upset about it at first. And I read it, I was like,
but it's gone on and on, so it's an ongoing thing.
This gives unwarranted advice. Bill didn't ask for
unsolicited. But the best portion,
a man.
He did. He mansplained that. I said, well, if you understood, as if you were present and you actually understood the left and right limits of what we were doing, it would make a lot more sense. But you should come out and see if you can shoot the same standards that I shoot, and then see if you can manage that. And I mean, and that's the way I would deal with most of that when I've dealt with negative, or not even negative. It's more like, well, because I show screw ups too. I don't care. I have zero ego. I'm like, oh, I dropped the mag. I'm now retarded. So I'm dead. I'm a dead guy now. So, that kind of thing. I make jokes. But when I think in our current market or in our current society, I think it's easier to be negative. I think a lot of people are instantly negative. They want to pick apart anything that people are doing because they are static. Most of the people that talk the most shit generally tend to have the least amount of information on the internet. Those are the ones that are the most toxic. And then I mean, is that your experience too? Has you seen the same thing?
So one of the things I want to point out that we haven't touched on is the algorithm and fake and bots putting negative comments in there. I keep a pretty close eye on the TACU stuff, and I know there's a lot of bots in there. So that's something to consider too, is a lot of times there's fake shit just to get you going.
Just to dump
and there's
on
also
you.
paid people that have fake accounts just to generate bad content, especially they'll attack the 2A community and other things like that. And I've actually met one while going back and commenting, and it was like negative comment, and I would meet him with like a funny comment, and it was a negative comment, and I just wouldn't let it. And finally he messaged me like privately on TikTok, and this was crazy. And it had this like crazy long username. and he exposed himself, said he's never done this before. He's just a bot. He does this. He gets paid to do this.
Mhm.
And he wasn't American. He was like from a different country. I can't remember. And he was like, "You're actually really cool." And I mean, because I just kept on, I didn't meet his negative energy. It was just like really fruitful and like fun conversation. And it like, he didn't even know how to react, but they exist.
Well, okay. So the interesting thing is you can see on Facebook a lot of the time when you're talking about the 2A space, and you'll have conversations, and all of a sudden bots start talking to themselves.
Yeah.
And you'll see them talking shit, and it'll be the same line every once in a while. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a bot. That's a bot. And then you can see a user, androgynous male 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're like, okay, there you go. So, and that would be the blue side. Then you have the alpha male 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 name.
That makes
And
sense.
then,
I've had a couple of people in the past that I kind of got the vibe that they were probably bots. I had some kid in.
I just look at the profiles. If you're following 7,000 people, you're probably a bot.
Yeah. Some
Nobody's
kid was
got
like,
time.
he was trying to tell me my hairline was bad, and I'm like, it's a normal hairline. It's
your hairline's bad. All right. So anyway, no, he wasn't lying. He's just being hurtful. Is all he's doing. He's just picking on
I
you.
guess.
So now, because it also goes because I think everybody here works out in general. I think everybody goes to the gym, right? Mostly. So there is what everybody's like smiling. And is like, I know you guys. Everybody here works out, right?
He took 2 years off. And
He's working out now. Okay.
She took today off.
I didn't take today off. Today was chest day.
I didn't take tonight off.
I took today off because it was Easter.
So you guys were doing a photo shoot. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So anyway, photo shoot. All right. So now the next portion is like the idea of an influencer, because it does go to the other portion of like the gym people, like who are doing stuff at the gym. They're taking selfies and all that bullshit. What do you guys think about that in the whole scheme of things? The way it's being used, because there are people that were doing inflammatory response. If let's say if someone walks in front and grabs a weight, that type of deal. Have you guys run? Because do you do any of that style?
No, I definitely don't.
No booty shorts and yoga pants and shit. You don't do that? Yeah. Okay. Well,
Not
yeah.
the gym.
Yeah,
with
she
a gun.
does that. And she just doesn't photo
I was
it.
gonna say, I get those on Snapchat.
I actually don't. I don't have a problem with influencers in the gym. I mean, the thing is like you go to a public gym and you expect that. It's like when you go out to a restaurant, a public dining, and you can't get mad at the baby that's screaming. Like you chose to go out into like the.
that's totally not true. You can be pissed.
Well, I think there's a couple things that are going on. So first of all, you have influencers who are not amazing people, right? They're not super developed people who are trying to generate content, trying to get the spiciest content they can do. So they're fishing for some sort of thing that they can turn into a bite. And then you have people who get upset, allegedly. I haven't seen one yet where I think it's real. Then you get people who are upset when you walk in front of their cameras.
Well, I mean, they're working for money. And so you're messing with their time, the energy. But like going back to what I was saying, like, you know, you can't be upset when there's like a baby screaming. But when like the mom just lets it scream and scream, it's like just like the influencer. If you're filming like whatever, but if you are doing it so much where like no one can actually use the gym and you're like interfering with my dinner, interfering with my working out, then I'm going to be fucking pissed.
I think that absolutely. I think, but like on the other side of that, right? Like if you go to a school or if you go to like a certain business or something and there are videos or photos and a possibility of your face, like not the influencer, but somebody else's face, like being online, then there should be, you know, we have to sign waivers and shit. Whereas like a lot of these influencers go in there and they're just filming and there's like people off in the background and those people may or may not have an opportunity to say, hey, like, look, man, like don't put my face like on the internet. So I think that's the only thing that really truly bothers me about having influencers in the gym is like, if you're going to do that, then you should at least give the people opportunity to say, hey, like I'm filming, this is going to this place, and give, you know,
or have some, at least some capability or a capacity to redact their faces.
Right.
Yeah,
have the respect.
That's why I like to follow Joey Swole. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar.
I like him too.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Mr. Positive.
Yeah.
He can still do a backflip at like 240. That's just freakish. I'm just saying.
He bullies the bullies.
Yeah, but I've met everybody. There's so many people juicing. I got asked if I was taking the needle last month because I did a cutting phase and I cut like 15 pounds real quick. And he was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just not eating. I gave up on food. I only eat protein. And he was like, that doesn't seem very healthy. I'm like, well, it's not, but it's not sustainable, but we're doing it, So, and yeah, it's a thing. So, I mean, and it's just, there are so many people that have back acne or are doing HGH. It's a thing. And you see it all the time. So now that we can shift gears, what is Get in the Fight? We might as well promote the fuck out of that too, just because, we're in the game. So let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It's a veteran-owned company.
He gave you the giant wand right to you. I saw it like shift to you.
So it totally is a veteran-owned company. I was at SLC last year.
Military school.
Yes, senior leaders course. And I just happened to get stuck. I don't want to say stuck, but I chose to sit next to this fella and Robert Licciardi, who is an amazing dude. And we just became best friends. And then he and I both went through an emotional thing last year. And his statement was always get in a fight. Like, my heart shattered after, death and all these other things. And he was like, come on, man, like, you just got to get in a fight. And I was just like, man, I don't even know what the fuck that means, dude.
Okay. I'm tracking now. Okay. I get it. I
like, what do you mean get in the fight? And he's like, dude, you just got to get in the fight. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, whatever that is. Move on about our day. And then it was probably 6 months ago, not even 6 months ago, maybe 3-4 months ago, actually. He called me and he's like, hey, dude, I got this like business plan. He's like, I want to create the Get in the Fight merchandise. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Rock on. So I had just started tattooing at the time, and he had sent me, he's like, hey, can you help me with this? And, what does it look like? And so I designed the logo for the company. I am not a partner in it in any way. But Licciardi and his other buddy, who are both Rangers in the Army, and then they've got like another friend who's like Special Forces, just created this clothing brand. And all it really is just about being supportive, whether it's supporting each other in the gym or being somebody's emotional support human, just support in general. Whether you're military, not military, It just happened to be that we are all military and all badasses in our fields. So
are you still in, or did you retire?
I am. 15 years.
Ooh, so you only have 5 more to go before, or are you going to go further?
I got a long time to go.
Just stay.
She was M-Day for a long time, so we got like 8.
Oh, I won't retire until 2037.
Oh God! All right, so okay, so now what are you officer? Or are you enlisted?
I'm enlisted. I am a sergeant first class.
Oh, look at you!
Friday.
Yeah.
Woo-woo. So that's 2 rockers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I just want to use my mind there for a second. All right, so now are you M-Day still, or are you now full time?
No, I'm a full timer as a recruiter.
Oh, okay. So what's that like? I'm just curious.
Whew. Let me tell you that it is the hardest easy job I have ever had. Talking to people is great. Convincing them, I don't want to say convincing them, but like showing them the way is very difficult. Especially
there's a part of me that wants to turn the camera off and actually talk about actually what it's like, and then because you have to give like that 30,000 foot view.
There's just one question: are you a psyop?
What's funny is I've been accused in the last 6 months. I don't want to say accused, but accused is like the only word I know of being CID or psyop.
Yeah,
like I don't know what it is. It's like
they've been advertising more. Trying to get people to join their division and try to like entice Gen Z to
sound crazy.
Dude.
You don't have to kill people.
PSYOP's
you just have to fuck with their heads.
Commercial.
Yeah.
PSYOP's last crazy. Commercial was Chef's Kiss. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was like, whoa.
And so
that's
and then there's
yeah.
other influencers out there like that Lujan girl, however you say her name, and people are just convinced that her whole existence is just to get young men to sign up into the military.
Yeah, I mean it is.
I mean, yeah. And it kind of is. Like I enlist a lot of infantry.
I think she's a mechanic, if I'm not mistaken.
For influencing?
Kind of, sort of. So like we have marketing NCOs that do that. And like Butterworth, if you've ever seen him, he was recently in Oregon. He's a big military recruiter, like influencer.
Yeah.
So
he was at Pendleton, right?
No, he's over there somewhere.
I think he's in Virginia.
Yeah, he's in Virginia.
He's other coast, I think.
Mhm. But he just got hired on as a marketing NCO influencer at NGB.
Yeah, so like if you are in the military and you have enough following base, like that could be your job, is just influencing and marketing for the military.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, like Mike Jones could literally have kept on for the Air Force and did that.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Dude's definitely psyops.
Yeah,
I should have been PSYOP.
I don't think his political views line up with the Air Force anymore.
Yeah.
No,
But to tie this back to Get in a Fight, so Lichardi is also a recruiter. And what they don't tell you about being a recruiter, and like it really is the hardest easy job I've ever had, but this job in particular has a really high turnover rate, and it is mentally exhausting,
stressful.
Awful. So, him being on one, because he's from Boston and I'm over here in Oregon. So, like, from one coast to the other, like, just doing the daily check-ins, like, yo, man, are you good? Because being a recruiter and having a mission on your back is so draining. So, for us, it's like, just get in the fight, like, stay with it, get in the fight, keep going. Okay, cool. One boot in front of the other, just keep going.
So, okay, with the company, so how many with their clothing line is it expansive? Is it tactical, or is it like the big grunty stuff where
it's lifestyle, I think, right?
Lifestyle?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be more lifestyle. We do have a tan tee that is for work. And then these ones in particular, like Lichardi just explained this to me too. So like these ones in particular are like our peace shirt, right? Like this is where we're at. And then we have a black one too. And the black one is like ready for war.
That's for SEALs. So I'm just kidding.
We're ready for war kind of thought. But we're expanding, or I want to say I'm just helping these things.
You're an ambassador. You can say that.
I am I am.
You're a product ambassador. You're a brand ambassador. There you go.
You're involved with the group.
So Ranger panties are coming hopefully soon.
I love Ranger panties.
Like silkies, the silky silkies. Okay.
Yes. And then, like leggings and sports tops, and they're working on hoodies right now. So it's gonna get there. We're gonna have all.
Well,
kinds
nothing
of
looks better than Ranger panties with leg warmers. That's a hot look. It always brings the boys to the yard.
Was that a thing for you? No, I bet you still look good in Ranger panties.
Just the panties.
Yeah. Or improvise walking sticks and getting in trouble. That's the thing. So is there anything you guys else would like to add before we kind of go back more into the violent space of why people are treating each other mean? Or do you guys?
People suck.
Yeah, people say, "Ow, that's hurtful," but true. So I mean,
sad but true. Metallica said it best.
Yeah, that's true. Now back to the other side of the influencer stuff. So because you guys go to SHOT Show every year, right? I'm assuming you guys are going to continue that tradition. Is that going to be a thing?
Hopefully next year we'll go. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it'll be my 4th year, 5th year.
Has it changed a lot in the last few years, in your estimation? I've only been once, so.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because I don't know what it was like pre-COVID. Everything shifted, before and after COVID. But I think it's getting busier since COVID. But this year we noticed a lot more empty booths, and just because of the economy. I mean, there was that shift, wouldn't you?
Yeah, totally.
Well, that provides opportunity.
There wasn't a lot of influencers running around either this year than there was last year.
Yeah, I think there's probably some change inside the policies of SHOT Show. I don't know this for a fact, but I believe it to be true that they cut back on the media access, so there are less influencers and also maybe the economy is bad, so less influencers were able to go. There was also some competing events. Avian matched up this year pretty good. But there was also competing shows that were going on where they're actually shooting. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember what they were, but there was, I think maybe Remington or somebody was doing an event like the following week or something, and they're actually shooting. So I know that, when money's tight, people have to choose what they're going to go to, and walking the floor at SHOT Show and seeing the same product for the 5th year in a row is not going to be as good as getting out on the flat and shooting with suppressors and stuff like that. So I think a lot of the influencers are doing that more than walking the floor at SHOT.
Well, speaking from somebody who shoots with a suppressor all the time, it's not that special after a while. It's not a big deal. So
right.
And then, but you do get to have people tell you that you're doing it wrong. That's the best part. You're doing it wrong, but I'm hitting exactly where I want to hit, and I'm shooting A zones. What's wrong? Oh, you're doing it wrong. Perfect.
But if you're an influencer, there's really no reason to go to SHOT. Just go to the after parties. Like, why go inside SHOT?
No reason to walk.
We've made more connections.
Yeah, the dope deals happen.
Going to parties, than anything. And you find all the invites anyways through social media. So there's like no reason to go inside SHOT Show.
But you can't get all the swag.
Sleep during the day and then walk there and then go to the parties at night. That's the way to do it.
Well, then, Wes, thank you guys very much for coming on. We appreciate it because it is something that's a unique perspective because we're not influencers in any way, shape, or form. We're just people who get on the internet and talk shit. We don't care. So, we have our little following of people that love us. So that's good enough, I suppose. But we are considering actually opening into a whole format of being on YouTube and that type of direction. And I think that's going to open us up to a lot more ridicule. So you've now helped me emotionally be prepared for that. So I'm more
as long as you know that it's coming, right? Like there's always the shadow side of any good thing. So as long as you know that it's coming, you're prepared for that, and you schedule
right. And a negative comment is better than no comment. So
dead air sucks. It's like, is this thing on? Yeah, that's one of those things.
Yeah, fewer things are more frustrating than putting up, all the work you go and put into putting up an episode or a show, and then you check the comments and there's nothing there. Now,
I would like to say before we quit, I did have a sidebar conversation with one of our listeners, and he did say that the gear conversations that we have are very expensive for him because he goes and invests in shit immediately. He'll go buy it and he'll look at what you got and what we're talking about. So apparently we do have a little bit of a market.
Well, what everybody needs is a gold AK. So we should.
Well, I always tell people you should.
I'll get on it. God damn it.
Okay,
that's like a $10 investment right there. Just go down to Home Depot and get yourself some shiny gold spray paint. Problem solved.
With that in mind, right now, getting a suppressor or getting an SPR done is about a month or less. So if you're going to buy a can, now's the time. It took me 13 months to get mine.
No. And it's not the right time. Weeks. The reason is, the reason why you shouldn't get it right now is because there's going to be a flood of companies starting to make suppressors in the future.
Why?
God damn dog. And so you want to wait until the market is saturated. So then they're going to be super cheap and quick. Yeah.
I can say this, that Surefire will never be cheap and they'll never be quick. They will always be expensive. They will stay that way. Because that's what I bought. So it's buy once, cry forever. That's what it comes down to.
Well, anybody that gets the majority of their money from the government is going to be able to artificially keep their prices high.
Which is the reason Daniel Defense Mark 18s are so expensive. That's because they can command the price. The same thing. Any military contract seems to impact.
Yeah, then you got those people buying 40 millimeters and playing with their tubes
or noodles. Yeah, hey man, noodles are great. That's some fun stuff to have. We all have them. I think everybody here's an unpour. We're good. So
unpour.
An unpour. Yeah.
No, I'm in the poor category for the moment.
It's okay. You have a flashlight. You'll be fine. You stand over there.
I have a flashlight and an urge to fire at trash.
Get on your Segway and shake your keys, you motherfuckers.
You don't need nods. You just need the balls to fire at sounds that you hear in the dark and just. Yeah.
You're going to get issued a
recon by fire, okay?
Yeah.
He's going to get issued a P320, chances are.
Yeah.
Gross.
There's only one Glock 19 available, or Glock 17 available. Everything else is P320s, so.
Yeah, that's what I have.
A 17?
17.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That's uncivilized. A 19 is the only way to be.
I've got a 23 over here on the floor with a training mag in it.
Anyway, why don't you end it so we can actually have the rest of the conversation. That's what's important.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to Unsuppressed Podcast this week. And if you want, hit us up, conspirafacttipjar@gmail.com. If you want to send us a tip in our tip jar, we always appreciate that. And remember, when it comes to your rights, whether it be the First Amendment, Second Amendment, or all the others, make sure you stay unsuppressed.
And go look at getinthefight.com or check them out on TikTok and Instagram.